Done very well actually, and most of you are well on the way to doing it, so I won't be spoiling any great surprises for you, I think. So everyone's got to this stage. We've got the key instruction is that it says true scale on the front here. So that means that our vertical axis is the same as our horizontal axis, and we've got 2 centimetres is 100 metres on both. So the stratigraphy, I can't be bothered to work it out, so I'll ask you, what is unit A? What's the youngest unit?
Shell.
Shell. And unit B?
Limestone.
Limestone. And unit C?
Sandstone.
Sandstone. Great. So,
Harry.
we can go along and each, I'm going to do this very crudely, so I'm not going to measure any angles, but of course you're measuring angles, so you'll do this much better than me, but yes, good. I've numbered the locations along the top there to make life a bit easier. So location number 1, we've got bedding dipping 5 degrees south. I suppose one thing to put on here is south on that side and north on that side. And then we know what we're doing. So bedding dips 5 degrees south. So we'll draw a little line here about 5 degrees, and we'll put that bedding. And then cleavage dips 30 degrees south. So that's cleavage at 30 degrees. And we'll do the same. Location 2, bedding is horizontal. Bedding, cleavage is 35 south. Different symbol for cleavage. Cleavage. 3, bedding stays horizontal, and cleavage is 40 south. We've got nothing at 4, only bedding at 5, and notice that bedding now is 75 degrees south at 5, so we've got a very steep dip here. So straight away we can start to see some possible fold here where everything is very shallow on this side, and then suddenly we've got a very steep dip on there. We go to 6, and we've got 55 degrees south, so a bit more shallow. 7, 8, cleavage is 45 degrees south. So cleavage isn't changing much at all. It's staying very constant throughout, and that's important. Can you see that okay? Is that zoomed in enough? At 9, bedding dips 70 degrees south. So, well, the thing I should mention that is important is notice that the strike on all of these is roughly east-west. So because our cross-section is north-south trending, we don't need to correct for apparent dip. But if your strike was maybe 050 or something, then it's far enough away from the strike, from perpendicular to your cross-section strike, you have to correct for apparent dip. Because obviously if you had a bedding strike that was parallel to the trend of your cross-section, then you would have the dip would be 0, whatever the true dip was. But because all of these strike roughly east-west, then we don't need to correct for that. So it's nice and simple. We can draw true dip, we can say is the same as apparent dip in this line. At 9, we've got cleavage, 40 degrees south. So there's a clue. What's going on here at 9? Bedding dips at 70 degrees, cleavage dips at 40 degrees. Is that right way up or upside down? Upside down, excellent. So straight away we can put a nice little upside down arrow on there. That's an overturned limb. At 10, 65 degrees south for the bedding. 11, cleavage is 45 south. 12, bedding is 30 south. And cleavage is 45 south. Right way up or upside down? Got cleavage 30 south. Cleavage is 45 and bedding is 30. Right way up, excellent. So we're back here, this is right way up. And then at 1322 south, bedding, so getting very shallow again. And then 1 kilometre at 14, we've got 20 south bedding and 30 south cleavage, so that's right way up again. And 15, 48 south bedding and 25 south cleavage. So that seems suspiciously shallow to me. So we'll put in a possible overturned marker here. Okay, so that's all our bedding cleavage marks on there. Now we'll mark the lithologies on there. So at 1 we've got slate. So let's call this, let's just draw our stratigraphy on here. So we've got shale, limestone and sandstone. We'll call these 1, 2, so we've got lithology 1, first locations. Everyone agreed with that? So lithology A. And something else very interesting there. Here we've got, at location 2, we've got slate above the limestone, so we've got 1 on top of the limestone, so 1 and 2. So we know that that's the right way up because the stratigraphic sequence is correct. And we've got bedding more shallow than cleavage, so this is right way up in this part. At 4, we've got sandstone here. So this is lithology 3, so we're in the oldest rocks. And also we've got some M folds, some parasitic folds that have an M-type symmetric geometry. So we can sketch those on at position 4, like that. And notice that they've got the same, those M folds have got the same orientation as you've got on your sheets. They're inclined. They're not upright. They're inclined, and that's quite key. At location 5, we've got some more asymmetric folds. These are S folds. Also inclined. And the rock here we've got is limestone. So this is lithology 2. And then at 6 we've got slate again, lithology 1. And then at 7 we've got, so it's black argillite in riverbed, silicified rock with quartz veins and pyrite. So we've got some fluid flow. The rock is being transformed by flow through fractures, and this could be related to a possible fault zone. So at 7 we've got query fault. Maybe something in there. Now we've got enough to deal with the southern section at least. We'll try and interpret some structure there. So we've got right way up beds here. We've got the hinge of a fold, and then we've got very steep beds on this side. And it looks like the cleavage is quite consistent throughout, so the cleavage is always doing this. Sorry, that's cleavage there. So we can infer that because the cleavage is consistent throughout, that the cleavage is actual planar to this fold. The cleavage hasn't been folded itself. So we can use that to gauge the orientation of the main fold. So if we join up, lithology 2 is here, and lithology 3. We don't know what's happening here. Okay, so this one we've got limestone on top of sandstone. So limestone there, top of sandstone. So there's our contacts at 3. So we can draw in the bedding contacts through here. So above this one is limestone. below it is sandstone. Here's the M fold, so we think that's probably the hinge area of the fold. And it's got to come down to have this orientation on this side, so we can draw the fold coming back around like this, to be parallel with the bedding there. So then everything there is consistent with what we've got. We've got an M fold in the hinge, we've got only lithology 3 in that area, and we've got lithology 2, so the limestone is on other sides around it. We can then draw, at this location we've got the contact again between 2 and 1, so there's a contact through there, and then it's got to come round the hinge and come down here somewhere through those 2 bedding positions. So we've got shale on top. We don't know how thick that is. So there's our limestone in the middle. We don't know what happens here. We've got a possible fault, so we'll jump to the other side and deal with this side. Does anyone need to run kind of now? We're kind of up to time almost. You can go for another 5 minutes or so. Right, so at 8, so this is distance 530 metres. There's what looks like a symmetric parasitic fold, so possibly a W fold, and this is in sandstone. So at 8, we've got a W fold, which is inclined the same as the other ones. And this is lithology 3. At 9, we've got sandstone again. And we've got mullions on there, so what does mullions indicate? We're hinge area, yeah. So we're probably near the hinge area. 9. We've got a mull. And then at 10, we've got black slate. So it's lithology 1.
I'll fill back the
12. Boudins. So what do boudins indicate?
stretching.
Stretch part of the limb. And that's in slate. So we can indicate boudins here with their orientation. Big green dog has been by and left a deposit. And that is lithology number 1. And then at 13, we've got more parasitic folds in the limestone. So this is lithology 2. And the orientation of those parasitic folds is something like this. And we know that we're in the right way up part of the limb here. So, well, let's leave that for now. Let's try and interpret this part. So we've done this bit. We're not quite sure what's going on in the middle. We've got W folds here. We think this limb is overturned and it's quite steep. So we can sketch in, where's our limestone? 3, then 1. So the limestone must be in between those 2. Broadly following that bedding mesh. This is our marker bed, the limestone. This is overturned, that's fine. Have we got limestone anywhere else? Not really, but we think this is the hinge, so we can extrapolate the hinge along the strike of the cleavage and say the hinge must be up here somewhere. Does that make sense? So the hinge area is down here, so all these layers are folded like this within this part, and then we can draw that back round and continue the limestone above ground, something like that. Over here we've got shale, which is above the limestone, and it is the right way up. It's not overturned, and it looks like it's in the limb of a fold. So we can draw here's the limestone here, so the limestone is underneath that.